LSU's defense, how can they stifle a really mediocre Mississippi State offense, in my opinion? What the Bulldogs used to run under Mike Leach, who passed away last year and is no longer coaching the Bulldogs. No more air raid system. They've switched back to more of a pro-style offense, and it's been pretty good, but it's not explosive. The offense really is predicated around an offensive line that brought back 4 starters from last year and is really solid. Like, I'm going to give them all the credit in the world. They've looked good so far this year. And then their running back. This guy runs the offense. Woody Marks is his name. You might remember him from last year's game. He had a really solid showing against LSU. Everything Mississippi State does from an offensive standpoint, in my opinion, runs through Woody Marks. He had 24 carries last game against Arizona, 123 yards and a touchdown, also 8 receptions for 91 yards. He's leading the SEC in rush yards through 2 weeks, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. And as I just said, he's a receiving threat as well. So what they're trying to do with a wide receiver core that didn't bring much production or talent back from last year, and again, just like that secondary is still kind of adjusting to the SEC level of play, is force feed the ball to Marks. So LSU's game plan should be to keep your full focus on that running back. He needs somebody covering him one-on-one pretty much every down. And I think if you're LSU and you're game planning to stop this offense, stifle this offense, stack the box. Pro-style offense, they want to run the football, okay? They don't have the explosive playmakers on the outside to beat you one-on-one. I know LSU's secondary has been susceptible, but they don't necessarily have the guys that can catch the passes. They've got someone that can throw the ball. Will Rogers, one of the most decorated quarterbacks in the SEC, 7th all-time with 11,000 career passing yards. He's just passing guys on the record ranks every single week. They got a good quarterback. They haven't used him the same way as he's been used. How has he gotten to 11,000 yards? The air raid system. They don't run it anymore. Rodgers throws maybe 20 times a game at most. Last week, he was 13 of 17, very efficient, 77% completion percentage, 162 yards, 3 touchdowns. They want to run the football. That's what this Bulldog team wants to do. So LSU needs to game plan for that and stop the run, force Mississippi State to beat you with the pass. And I know that's a little risky because I just read you Rodgers' resume. It's very good. I don't think, though, they have the same receivers that he's been accustomed to having the past couple of years, some of whom are playing in the NFL right now. So I don't think that MSU has that explosive factor, those guys that will take the ball 40, 50 yards, catch a pass downfield. They haven't done it so far, at least, that I've seen on film. Maybe it can be done against LSU. Florida State certainly did that, even Grambling State to a certain extent. The point here is, though, MSU's not explosive unless you allow them to be. They had a couple of big plays against Arizona, but they were the recipe of missed tackles, missed assignments, things like that. Even the game-winning touchdown in overtime, screen pass. Arizona linebacker right there to make the play, misses the tackle, 25 yards later, touchdown. And Mississippi State wins. So as long as you don't have things like that, missed tackles in open space, missed assignments in coverage, I think you'll be just fine if you're LSU's defense, because there's not a surefire draft pick at wide receiver for this team, and the running back really is the focal point of the offense, and you could shut down one player. Like, if you game plan and you've got the scheme and you really, really think about your assignments play to play, you can slow down one player. So that, I think, is the key in this game. Force Mississippi State to beat you with the pass, put 7, 8 guys in the box, and just shut down that run game. Arizona should have won last week, in my opinion, because Mississippi State was +4 in the turnover margin. Arizona threw 4 picks, had a fumble. MSU turned it over just once, and they barely won this game. What that tells me is that their offense isn't explosive. When they have the momentum in their hands in a game, they can't take advantage of that with the offense. And LSU, I guarantee you, will not turn the ball over 5 times. Maybe not even 3. That's just not what this offense does. Jaden Daniels doesn't really throw interceptions. And, fumbles happen, but I don't think they're going to be fumbling 2 and 3 times in this game. So I got a lot of confidence in LSU, and I think LSU wins this game. That's my official prediction. number 14 team on the road in a very, crazy environment. Starkville's going to be ready. They're going to show out with the cowbells. But I think LSU goes in there, and I think people really overreacted to that FSU loss. I think people need to take a step back. It's been 2 weeks. We can breathe a little bit. This team is still really good. That's why they're still top 15. That's why a lot of people had them as maybe not a dark horse, but an outsider that could crash the college football playoff party. It's still a really good team. I think they've cleaned a lot up in the past few weeks from a scheme standpoint, from an assignment standpoint. So I think LSU goes and wins this game, and it's a very impressive win because regrouping in 2 weeks like that after really getting embarrassed in Orlando is tough to do. They're going to go to a tough SEC environment on the road in a conference opening game and win. I don't think they'll cover, but this LSU team is going to look a lot better versus what we saw in week 1 against Florida State.